What we've recognized, of course, is an important need for AI literacy amongst our students. And working with our program advisory committees, we've also learned that they're looking for our graduating students to be familiar with these tools. So this assignment is, again, very a hands-on, feet on the ground kind of assignment. And what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to accomplish, are a number of things. One is to get our students thinking more about artificial intelligence and how the many AI business tools can be leveraged in the workplace, as well as enhance some of their skills doing things like teaching people how to use software in the workplace. This type of employee, once they graduate and they're in the workplace, are often depended upon by other employees in the business to show them how different pieces of software work. This is a person who shows you how to set up your email, or how do I create a table of contents in my Word document, things like that. So we're teaching them how to be teachers, and we want to shift the mindset from where, as you all know, in the beginning, academically, we were sort of afraid of AI, and because of for obvious reasons, and we're trying to shift that to embracing it while at the same time recognizing the risks associated with using it, of course. So it matters to these people because these are the types of tasks they do in the workplace. They're managing email like anyone, but they're sometimes managing email for other people. They're responsible for setting up meetings and video conferencing. They create documents. They manage projects. Often they're involved in marketing as well. They learn how to use tools like Hootsuite for managing social media campaigns. And they learn, various pieces of software for project management, bookkeeping, and expense management. So it's a real using software kind of a job. And the software associated with virtually all of these tasks now has an AI component in almost every case. So through the program, they're in fourth semester when they complete this assignment. Students have already spent some time learning how to teach adults. And this assignment, again, gives them an opportunity to create a short training program that introduces their student to a new piece of software, how to sign up for it, how to use the basics of the software, and where they might use that in the workplace. So their goal is to develop this fairly short 15-minute tutorial on their chosen piece of AI business software. So in selecting a tool, I give them a resource that lists all the types of software that are available to businesses that have an AI component to them. They choose one, and then I suspect most of you are familiar with Padlet. It's an online, sort of bulletin board tool where they can post the tool they'd used. They're going to be studying and presenting. Once they've done that, no one else can use that tool. So I don't get a whole bunch of people doing the same assignment. And you'll see why that's important in a moment. So they need to learn about the tool. They need to use AI throughout this assignment wherever they like, because it is part of a section in the course that talks about using artificial intelligence. One of the other speakers was speaking about prompt engineering. So they've gone through training on those types of things. So they can use all of that. And of course, they go through a learning process through their research, and then ultimately they'll share these presentations with the rest of the class. The last part of the assignment being to for each student to write a reflection on each of the presentations to, again, just sort of reinforce their learning. So this is just, to support that that dialogue. They can choose tools, and there, vast numbers of tools that where we can perform or leverage AI in the workplace to manage these skills or competencies. And there are many, and we don't know which tool their prospective employers will employ. But as they progress through the program, they become very adept at learning how to use technology and, sort of the common instructions that appear in, graphical user interfaces in every piece of software. So if they're doing document design, a lot of these tools look the same. They're using something like Canva. They're using, Microsoft Office. They're starting to use Copilot, the AI piece of Microsoft Office. They're using Gemini in Google Docs. So they're getting very familiar with using software generally through the program. And then at this stage, we want them to get used to using the artificial intelligence components of all of these tools. So they have to research and design this presentation. To help them with that, there is a supporting lecture on prompt engineering. There's a supporting lecture on teaching adults. From there, they go out, they research their product vendor, they sign up for it, they try it out, they practice it, they learn how specifically it can be used in the role of an office professional. They share the costs and benefits. They share the free version versus the paid version, which, of course, almost always exists. And then, of course, what's become so important in using AI is validating the results and proofreading and checking all of the references. So a couple of other skills they develop while they're completing this session. One is using a screencasting tool. And if you're not familiar with screencasting, it's fundamentally simple. It's recording what's happening on your desktop. So often when we're teaching people how to use software, we use a screencasting tool to create a recording, and then we can share it with them, through a learning management system or email or what have you. And it shows someone logging into the software, performing different functions, that kind of thing. So it's a very powerful tool for teaching people how to use software. And I've provided a few quick examples of what those tools are. In this program, I've got both hybrid students, those who are coming on campus for one lecture and attending a synchronous lecture on time, versus a group who are also asynchronous students who, as you know, have no lectures. They're just reviewing online content and regular direction from me of what they need to accomplish next in the course. So we have some interesting dynamics between those groups. And then their presentation, they need to build, again, because it's, so many of them are asynchronous, and we want these people to be learning how to work online. We want them to be learning how to work with others online, how to think critically, leveraging AI tools and leveraging AI tools collaboratively. So we want them to demonstrate that throughout the assignment. And the final piece of this is they have to create sort of a YouTube presentation where they're delivering their presentation and showing people how to use the tool. One component of that being their screencast. And then lastly, for the assignment, This will generate about 50 unique presentations or presentations of unique software. And they have to, hybrid students, of course, will have to attend these classes in person, but asynchronous students will review all of the videos online and then write a reflection paper that identifies at least one key takeaway from each sample or example of AI software. So they really come out on the other side of this, excuse me, fully understanding the software that's available to them or that they may be presented with in the workplace upon graduation. So my goal is to almost make them office AI experts, if anyone can be considered that at this stage of the game, and at the very least be able to put on their resume that they've been exposed to and worked with a fairly extensive list of AI tools. So coming out of it, the skills that they develop, I think, are fairly broad. Um, Research and collaborative critical thinking, as I've mentioned, we've identified that as a skill set, as a critical skill set for people going into this career. Digital communications, of course, knowledge of AI tool existence and proficiency with some of it. Developing video content which is almost a meta learning in this case. Uh, More confidence in delivering presentations and peer learning and supporting others in using office tools. So, in conclusion, I think this type of assignment is good for any sort of career where a student is using a lot of different types of software or might encounter a lot of different software in the workplace. Um, in many cases, of course, seeing that almost all of these tools now have an AI component. They can arguably start to consider themselves as AI leaders as they can join the conversation competently in the workplace around AI and where we can use it ethically and professionally. And then lastly, of course, like many careers, administrative professionals are worried that AI is going to take over their job. And what I am finding fairly consistently is I really don't think that's going to be the case. It's going to make them more productive. It's going to give them new competencies where they can take on tasks that might have exceeded uh, their skills in the past, and it improves the quality of their work. So that's my presentation.